This is Tuesday, May 31st. There are 50 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2016. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog. Good evening. I am your host, James Riley. Joining me on the podcast tonight, Carrie Dixon, the comeback of Cantankerous Carrie.
Hey, guys.
It's not very cantankerous. Very yellow.
I told you, I'm not very cantankerous this evening.
It's the only thing that rhymed.
I know. That's
so
fine.
if anyone thinks that my volume is lower than usual, go ahead and just send me a message on Twitter and I'll turn it up. Because I know we've been having issues.
We promise we're working on it, and we're hoping next week we'll have good quality audio again, circa like 2014.
We'll get into this near-ish sort of decade sometime this season.
Maybe not.
So, all right. What are we getting into? Oh, before we start.
Yes. Something huge happened this week.
I'll give a mass to Mrs. outside Comic-Con on the birth of their baby girl.
And she is cute as a button. So,
yep.
Congratulations, Kim. I'm sure you're doing more interesting things than watching this.
Laying down, resting.
I don't think there's a lot of that going on. She is a newborn.
Sleeping.
But
any of that?
No.
None of that?
Probably none of that.
So.
I did though. I did think it was funny. We talked to her earlier, and she was like, the one and only thing I have to do all week is Funko Fun Days tickets tomorrow. So she's still got her priorities in order.
Hey, at least she remembered it's tomorrow,
She did. She had it on her calendar and everything. So that's funny. But let's get to the news now. As a quick reminder, if you're watching on Google Hangouts, we have a Q&A feature, and you can submit questions at any point. You can also always tweet us at SD_comic_con, and we will be more than happy to answer your questions. But let's get right into the news, shall we?
We shall.
We shall. So the biggest thing that happened is panel confirmations started going out. So what that means is the official schedule does not come out until 2 weeks before the convention, which is July 7th through the 10th for the schedule. Wednesday, Thursday both come out on Thursday. Friday's schedule comes out on that Friday. Saturdays comes out on Saturday. Sundays on Sunday. But panel confirmation started going out. So the rooms and the times and really everything about the panels are still all subject to change, but they don't change that much. So we already have quite a few panels. I counted earlier, and I think we're up to like 16 confirmations that we know of. And for the most part now, this is not going to be like the movie panels and the TV panels. We know a couple of those. Like two of the Disney XD show creators both said that they were going to be there for Pin Zero Part-Time Hero and Star versus the Forces of Evil. And thank you to Comic-Con. I actually know what these things are solely because of Comic-Con. But we'll start to get more announcements as we get closer. So just yeah,
we can basically expect people to be mentioning their panels or talking about them. The information filters out to the people that are going to be on those panels, and
yes,
the official rule is you're allowed to announce that you have a panel at a certain date, or right now, not allowed to announce the time,
the room,
day, or place.
You're basically only allowed to say, "Hey, I'm having a panel." Now, not everyone follows those rules, and we like those people. Moving on.
Because we can put together of the schedule in advance before.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
schedule comes
usually
out.
know well over 100 panels before the schedule's actually announced. Well over. So every year we do a list of basically compiled panels that people have announced, and we'll start to publish that here in a couple weeks. I don't have an exact date, but when we start getting some of the bigger stuff, we'll post that and go from there.
Indeed.
So,
And
what
we
else
actually
happened?
have a question.
Oh, we have a
which
question.
is right next into our next news item. Scott Mueller asks, any word on badges being mailed out? Why, yes, there is news. We saw today that a few, at least one professional badge has been mailed. It looks like two of them we've seen.
A couple, yeah. I actually saw quite a few in the tag.
So we retweeted a couple of them, and the professionals were mailed out, which means attendees are going to be mailed out soon.
I would too. Now
they're going to probably go in waves. I would guess.
Yeah. Now the deadline for those people who had multiple people purchase their badges, which again, what we mean by that is like if for your individual badge, if somebody bought you Friday and Saturday in pre-registration and then Thursday in open registration. So 2 different sales, 2 different people. For those people, the deadline to change your address is June 10th. So I would imagine that we're probably looking at sometime not too long after June 10th for those to be mailed out. And of course, there's all other kinds of badge types like press and
right,
everything in between.
Other professionals, press,
yeah.
Exhibitors.
Yeah. So I would assume that this is basically just them kicking off the mailing, and we're going to see more coming. However, one important thing to note is that we retweeted it earlier. They're coming in these really like nondescript envelopes, which is great because it means that people are less likely to see, oh my gosh, this person has a Comic-Con badge. I should steal this.
Right.
But it also means that you need to pay a little bit closer attention to your mail so you don't accidentally throw it away.
Registration materials enclosed. Please open immediately.
Yes.
That's all it says on the envelope.
Yeah. So good times. Did we want to talk about badge pickup at all?
Yeah. There's information in the badges that have shown up. According to the information in there, the badge pickup will be in the Marriott.
Indeed. And what I'm really curious to see is, so we know that when you get on site, that's when you'll be able to pick up your lanyard and your guide, your WB bag and all that stuff. So I'm really curious to see if that's also in the Marriott, because that's where the fulfillment room has typically been, though they changed the name of that last year to something god awful, didn't they? Like the
yes, it changed.
Program
no one remembers it.
Premium room. Whatever. The fulfillment room is over at the Marriott. So I truthfully wouldn't be surprised at all if that is where we actually go pick up all the extra stuff that they're not mailing out.
Right.
So
now, possible they need the Marriott area, the new ballrooms for things like this?
It is possible, because I'm still not entirely certain what they plan to use that for, but those are big rooms, so it would make sense. I'm personally just excited we're not going to have to schlep over to Town and Country anymore. So, woo!
Yeah.
Good times. Michael Pia asked about the other huge news happening this week. He said the hotel waitlist emails start tomorrow. Yes. So basically what's going to happen is starting tomorrow, they are going to begin rolling out hotel waitlist emails. Basically, you're going to get an email saying, go look and see you decide that you want to change to your waitlisted hotel, you'll be able to. If you've already booked a hotel, they'll send you a link, and that same day you can fill it out and request a refund. You have to request it on the same day, and they can't just like transfer your old deposit to the new reservation. You have to have the money in your bank account for a full deposit on the new hotel, and then they'll refund you the old one. We don't know.
This is just a lot of hoops and rules and things.
Yes. It does seem to be much more complicated than before. I feel like in years past they have been able to transfer the deposit. I'm not sure if the rules have all changed because it's on peak. I'm not sure if it's changed because it feels like Comic-Con International is trying to get slightly more involved. Who knows? We also have no idea how fast or how slow or how many people will be moved off the wait list. I mean, maybe 10 people could get an email tomorrow. Like, we legitimately have no idea. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how this happens. I would plan on being patient with this.
Right.
They basically said it's going to take, I believe, at least
10 days.
And that's minimum.
And that's business days.
Yeah. So again,
no on peak on weekends. No, that's crazy talk.
No, there's no on peak on weekends. So again, just plan on packing your patience with this. If you get a waitlist email, that's awesome, but I would not bank on it.
Also, be aware that link you get is yours. Don't share it.
Yes.
Don't send it to anyone else. They said that they will. They reserve the right to cancel all reservations made on that link if it's shared or done by more than one person.
Yeah.
So don't share it.
Be smart. All that. So what else has been going on this week? Or actually, hold on. Amazing Comic-Con asked us a question, and thank you for watching. So let's answer this real quick. He asked, what do you guys think of the new SDCC exclusives from Diamond Previews? I think they're pretty cool. I think they always bring some awesome stuff. I do wish Shop AFX is a website that usually offers pre-sales on like 90% of Diamond's exclusives. They're not attending this year, which makes things a little bit more complicated for the people who want their exclusives. Basically, instead, you're going to have to go up to Diamond's booth during Comic-Con, find a list of where the individual exclusives are actually being sold, because Diamond is not the one who sells them. So that makes things a little bit more complicated, and I hope Shop AFX comes back next year for that reason. But they've got a lot of really cool stuff. I think some of the variants this year look really nice. All that Marvel stuff looks awesome. The Han Solo #1 looks awesome. I really like those Daredevil mini-mates. What do you think, James? Do you have an opinion?
I will go look at them real quick because I've forgotten already what they have. But I do remember at least one of them being cool. Let me go find them, though, because I do remember one I liked. Let me go find it.
They're pretty cool. And it also gave us our first look at a Funko exclusive this year, which is, I think it's flocked, but it's the Swamp Monster. But
it's the one.
It has a scent. Now, no one knows what the scent is. It might be strawberries. It might be the scent of swamp. But I think that's pretty funny.
We were all trying to guess if it was just, like all of the Funkos that were left in the back of the warehouse that accidentally got mildew on them.
Yes.
And so they just made it into Swamp Thing and like swamp smell.
Yes.
I like the Daredevil 2-pack mini mix.
I really like that one. Yeah.
The Spider-Gwen is really cool.
It is.
And what was the other one? There was another one. Right? Where is it? I like all the Batman stuff. Lots of Batman stuff this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's pretty funny. The Star Wars comic's cool, the Han Solo one. That's a lot of stuff. That's a heck of a lot of stuff. All right, so the Deadpool one is really cool because it's got the Mini-Mates as the characters on it. So it's like they're combining two of their exclusives into one.
Yeah, that's my favorite of what they're offering. So good stuff. But I wish that they would announce like where to go get the stuff without making you have to go to the booth first. But I get it. So
But they hand out, it's like on a piece of paper they'll hand you, so
Yeah.
you can take it and go.
Yeah,
You don't have to sit there and memorize it and then try
I
and find
know.
the booth.
I know. All right. Just to clear up something, Omer Hassa asked, I'm confused. I thought they were mailing out badges, but we have to go to the Marriott. Yes, no. Okay. So they are mailing out badges, but there are still going to be some people who need to go pick up their badges. Those who had an international mailing address will head over to the Marriott to pick up their badge. Anyone who has any kind of issue, like if you don't get your badge in the mail or your dog eats it or whatever the case might be, those people will still have to go to the Marriott to pick up your badge. Like I said, I have a feeling we may still all be heading over to the Marriott to pick up our lanyards, bags, guides, and all that jazz. Don't know that part for sure though, but that's what the Marriott is going to be. Dominic asked, do you know if press badge pickup will be at the Marriott as well? Do not. All we know is that possibly the person who told us about the Marriott is a professional, but the instructions that they received specifically said like attendee pickup. So
actually, did we get our emails yet for press?
I don't know.
For this is your badge, because if you got your email, it should say in the email where to pick it up. I hope. I was in there last year, so hopefully it's in there this year.
Let's go look, because this makes for riveting entertainment.
Yes. Oh, while we're talking about it, let's see if there's any other questions we can answer. Oh, do you have a picture of the badge? Is it similar to WonderCon's, the drawing on the badge? Actually, this year at Comic-Con, it is The Walking Dead.
It is The Walking Dead.
We retweeted someone's picture of it, so you can go look on our feed on Twitter, and you'll be able to see it. It is, let me go find it here. It is a Walking Dead promo, new season, October 2016, and it looks like it's got Negan.
I don't know how to say his name. And Lucille the Bat. I know the Bat's name.
Yeah, guy with the bat.
Guy with the bat.
But it's only his back.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan and a bat. That's what it is.
The back and the bat. That's all it is.
And as far as
not a man, not a Batman, man with a bat.
Thank you for clearing that up. Again, just because this is riveting entertainment, all it says about press pickup is international members of the press will be able to pick up their badge when they arrive on site at the San Diego Convention Center. So TBD.
Well, there you go. So that means that it's possibly going to move because they would have probably included it like they have in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Or they just weren't totally sure. Should we take another question or should we go on to
take the Funko one?
All right. So Rob Sebald asked, will Funko break the internet tomorrow? Any tips for getting a ticket to Fun Days? I don't know. I think it has the potential to. I think it makes me incredibly nervous that they announced 2 weeks before, especially when Funko's popularity has really only grown over last year. The only suggestion I have is basically treat it like it's Nerd HQ. It may not be quite that in demand. I mean, at the very least, we know there's like 1,000 tickets instead of like 100 for Nerd HQ. But my suggestion would be treat it like it is Nerd HQ and plan on sitting there refreshing until 12 p.m. Pacific time when it goes up. Plan on buying your tickets immediately and hoping for the best. Because who knows how many other people are going to be trying tomorrow as well.
You got to think that virtually anything at Comic-Con that is even halfway popular, that if you give people a time and a place, there will be a lot of people showing up at that time.
Or what James said.
It's just, so there will be people, they will be trying. So good luck.
There will be a lot of people trying. Yeah, so like I said, just plan on sitting there refreshing, having your stuff ready to go like that. It's Eventbrite, right? Yeah, it's yes. Eventbrite. If you haven't already, sign up for an account, be logged in so that you can check out that much faster, like all those kinds of lovely tips. So, shall we move into some exclusive news?
So last week we had NECA announce their final exclusives and put them all up for pre-sale for a certain amount of them, which, sad to say, is ended as of today. There is a wait list, but they have Deadpool Head Knocker, X-Force Deadpool Head Knocker. That's limited to 500. It's $30. The Spider-Gwen Classic Unmasked Head Knocker, also limited to $530. And of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Konami video game action figure box sets. Those, and as well as the Newt and the Predator that were previously announced, all went on sale and are now technically sold out in the pre-sale online. There is a wait list if you go to their website, but right now, just plan on actually having to wait in line to get them.
Yeah, I think that too. NECA always brings some awesome stuff, and those turtles, I don't know if they technically sold out this, but I would still expect those to be hugely popular at the convention. But NECA is not the only one to bring some exclusives.
Well, they always save some for on-site sales. Officially sell out. It's just sale.
Yeah. I just mean, I don't know that, like, even online, if they technically sold out.
They probably have to go through and confirm everyone's order and make sure people didn't order doubles or triples and cancel orders, and then probably people in the wait list will get in.
Yeah. But NECA is not the only one who is bringing some exclusives. We've got Diamond, like we talked about just a little bit ago. You can go find all that information on our site. And then Monogram International has also announced a couple of exclusives. They've announced 2 different foam keyring sets in the last week. Last week, they announced a Disney Princesses set, which includes Alice, Belle, Ariel, Cinderella, and Tinkerbell. And then today, they announced a pretty cool one that's got 5 different Deadpools. So they are $45 each. The Deadpool one has a little bit more availability. There's 500 sets of those compared to 400 of the Princess one. But they're really cute. They're cool stuff. I wouldn't worry too much about Monogram stuff selling out. It's usually pretty easy to get. But, yeah.
Yeah. So also in the year of the Trek, the MAC makeup collection is debuting at Comic-Con. There's glass and lipstick and pigmented eyeshadows and super stick lip. There's a lot of makeup.
Which one are you most excited about, James?
I am excited about the thing that looks like it's the shape of the Enterprise, because that's actually kind of cool. But no, there's actually one of the I think the lipstick colors that Beth is interested in. So we will see what actually the color is and see if it's something she would want to get.
And the cool thing about this is that if you can't make it over to the MAC gas lamp store, all this stuff will really be available at regular MAC stores later in the year. It's basically just debuting at Comic-Con first. So
not exclusive?
No, it's not exclusive.
Just debuting.
It's just debuting. Thank you for repeating what I just said. Riveting entertainment, kids.
I like saying things. Yes. You know, we have and we say them twice.
Mattel. Let's talk about Mattel. So the pre-sale is going to start next month, which for us right now is June. If you're listening tomorrow, it starts this month. The early access for subscribers is going to be June 15th through June 16th. And then the all access is going to be June 17th through the 26th, though I would expect most of it not to last past the 17th. They used USA Today last week to announce several of their exclusives, which we got a look at the Wonder Woman Barbie, which has metallic clothes, so it's a little bit different than the regular retail version. There's a She-Ra. They haven't used the word Barbie to describe it, but to me, like, that's exactly what it is. But it's, I mean, it is. It's a She-Ra Barbie, but that's cool. She comes with she comes with 3 different outfits. They all look pretty cool. There's a Ghostbusters minifigure set. And it lights up and makes sounds. There's a Ever After High Cedarwood, which is apparently the daughter of Pinocchio. There's all kinds of stuff. And they've also been releasing like more details about the packaging for their stuff. I think basically what's going to happen is they've got a whole bunch more exclusives than just what they showed on USA Today. So like we know there's going to be a Thundercats exclusive that people are super excited about. They haven't said a word about that. They're basically going through, and for all the ones that they let USA Today announce, they're going through daily, one by one, and just showing off more details of the figure. So I think we're going to get through all of these and then get into kind of the next round that USA Today hadn't announced. But the really cool stuff, we'll get through all of them, obviously, by the 15th. Yeah. That's what I got for you.
A chance to get it first.
You're fine. I'm like, what are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to convince people not to buy it, so I have 30 seconds to get it before other people, because that's a really, really nice Wonder Woman Barbie. Looks good.
It does
Just
look
saying.
good. So again, if you have questions, you can ask them in the chat, which we have a Q&A feature, or you can always tweet us at SD_comic_con. So what else is there, James? What are you doing, dude?
Huh? What?
Can't. Did you want to talk about the TV stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just went over the TV shows that are possibly showing up at Comic-Con, and if you are interested in seeing what we think about which family network or cable network shows are showing up, you can check it out and see if you agree or disagree with us, and see if your favorite is showing up or not. Hopefully, we don't know, but this is what we think has a good shot, or maybe shot of showing up.
Or no shot. And it's worth a read, for the record, because I spent a very long time writing these. We go into reasons like why we think things are going to be there or not. Like Preacher stands an incredibly high shot of being there this year, just because it's the big thing that AMC is pushing right now. But it'll be a good year for TV. We also talked. We did broadcast TV last Monday, and then late last week we did the cable networks, and then over the weekend I did the family networks. And like I said, we know a couple things. Like we know those Disney shows. We saw a really weird listing on Kel Mitchell's upcoming events page for Nickelodeon. He said that he was going to be at Comic-Con for the Splat All That reunion, which is basically all those 90s Nickelodeon TV shows that we've all watched a million times. So I think we're potentially looking at a really cool reunion for all of those at Comic-Con. When we reached out to Nickelodeon, they wouldn't confirm or deny, but I have a strong feeling we're going to be looking at those. Oni Press also released some exclusives today. They're doing 3 different variant covers, one of which is an actual Comic-Con exclusive, and then the other 2 are just debuts. The Rick and Morty cover is by Katie Cook, It looks pretty cool. It is the Rick and Morty cover is the one that's actually going to be the Comic-Con exclusive. So the only place you can get it is at San Diego Comic-Con. And then the other two include a cover by Babs Tarr. Those two are basically just debuts. But again, you can find all of that information on our site. Let's see if we have any questions. Omar Hassa asked, has there been any news on Conan tickets? No, is the short and the long answer to that. We haven't heard anything yet about Conan. He has said a couple of times that he'll be there. We just haven't heard any additional announcements. I do believe he'll be back at Spreckles. And I have a feeling that everything is going to work very similar to the way that it worked last year. M. Nelson asked, do you think AMC will split up their panels or just take continuous times in the same room? I think The Walking Dead may still be combined, which what I mean by that is The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, just like they were last year, where it's basically back-to-back. I think Preacher, they'll probably split out separately just because they don't usually give networks like just a huge block unless you're CBS. So yeah, I don't know that I think Preacher is big enough to fill Hall H the way like The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead are. I think that would probably wind up in Ballroom 20, but we shall see. So if you haven't already noticed, if you're watching live, we've lost James. So we are trying to get him back. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know so that I can keep filling up time.
Did I come back?
You came back. Hi.
I'm back.
Hi.
My computer just giving me hassles today.
That's okay. I talked about Oni Press.
What did I miss?
I talked about Oni Press, and then I talked about how I don't think they'll just give AMC free reign for 4 hours to hold all their panels back to back. That's about it.
Well,
What?
Walking Dead is on the badge this year, though.
Yeah, and I think they'll do Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead back to back, but I don't think Preacher's big enough for Hall H. I think Preacher will be Ballroom 20.
Walking.
Your signal's still not real good for the record, dude. Nick asked, how are they doing tickets for the Star Trek premiere? And I think we may be losing James again, but they haven't announced anything yet about this year's Star Trek premiere. As far as the tickets, I suspect it will be a very small, limited amount of tickets available, and I suspect that it will be a lottery and a bloodbath. I heard you for about 2 seconds.
Well, that's good.
That's good.
I'll talk every once in a while, just in case.
Do you have anything you would like to add?
Like slowly drifting away and disintegrating.
You really are. Okay, so I know. So Michael Pia.
I will add whatever I can. I'm here.
All right. So Michael Pia asked, what about the new Marriott Ballroom? We talked a little bit about this before. I think that some of it could be used for badge distribution. It also could be entirely possible that some of that space could be where Sci-Fi will be holding their live show this year. We do know that that live show is going to be taking place somewhere at the Marriott. When last I talked to Sci-Fi, they weren't totally sure where at the Marriott, but hopefully we should have that information soon. And if you didn't know, attendees are going to be able to attend that free of charge, and ticket information about that should also be available here in the next couple weeks because we're really not that far away from Comic-Con. And news is basically just going to keep coming faster and faster until we get there. We're only 50 days away, which is not that far. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Anything else we want to talk about? Not that I see.
Is that like?
Shall we wrap?
Can you actually hear me now?
I can. I'm afraid to jinx it, though. I'm really afraid to jinx it.
Quick, shut it down. No.
Basically, yeah. So, again, riveting entertainment here this week, kids. I swear to you, we will have guests in June. I have booked people who are not me and James to come talk to you about San Diego Comic-Con and all that it entails. But yeah, there's going to be a ton of stuff happening. Oh, I know what we can talk about. Entertainment Earth. Entertainment Earth revealed their first exclusive today. It's a Captain America chair cape, which is cool. But they have over 40 exclusives, and they are going to keep announcing one every weekday up through the convention. Every Monday, they will also be giving away Biff Bang Pow pen mates, which are these little wooden figures. They look pretty cool. Comic-Con exclusive pen mates at that. So we'll keep posting those every day as they come out. Should be pretty cool stuff. Dominic said, I think the connection issues are just payback from James for you putting him in charge when you went on vacation. You might not necessarily be wrong, Dominic. I'm pretty sure they still hate me a little bit over that. Hi, James.
I'm back.
You're back. You missed Dominic's lovely comment. He said that he said that these connection issues are just my payback. Oh, and now you're dying again.
What?
It was fun while it lasted. Omar also said, do you think the 2 ballrooms at the Marriott will mean that there will be more panels accepted, or if not, help to spread out audience numbers by splitting the same amount of panels over more rooms? I think that depends on how they choose to utilize those 2 rooms. I mean, if it's something like badge pickup, I don't think that it's really going to affect much of anything, if anything at all. They could, though, use it for panel space. I'm not looking at the numbers right now, but I'm fairly certain that it is actually larger than Indigo, I think. Don't quote me on that. Which would mean, though, that we would have, like, a pretty good sized room. It could mean that maybe we can finally move something like the animation domination panels, which, while popular and too popular for Indigo Ballroom, but that rarely fill up in Ballroom 20, maybe we can move those over there. That would be wonderful, in my opinion.
The new ballrooms in the Marriott?
Yes.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that they are at least the size of the Indigo, if not bigger.
Yeah, I feel like they're bigger.
But I think the seating capacity was listed at somewhere over 3,000, and the Indigo is like 2,600.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. So we're gonna go with that. Fred asked on Twitter, never did Maddie's pre-sale before. How crazy is it? Usually in the early access sale, maybe one thing will sell out. I feel like last year, I don't remember last year if the Ever After High Raven doll sold out in early access, if it just sold out in like 30 seconds after it went live to the general sale. But not everything sells out in early access. So when it gets to general access, most things are still available, but they're not available for too long. There are some exceptions, usually like the things that are not super high in demand. They definitely, sometimes they don't sell out at all. But the stuff like Monster High, Ever After High, that She-Ra doll, those are all going to sell out. So just like we were talking earlier, if it's important to you, be on the ball, be ready to access the sale as soon as it goes live. And once we have times and all of that kind of information, we'll be posting that on the site as well. Yep.
Am I actually coming through now? Is it better?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is, dude.
My internet was sucking today, so
Well,
I went on to my my hotspot on my phone. Believe it or not.
well, but hey,
So,
it's working right now.
yeah.
Anything else?
Keep it up.
Keep it up. Anything else you can think of that we should talk about for San Diego Comic-Con 2016 that we know of?
I missed everything, so let's go over it all again.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be once more riveting entertainment.
No,
actually, okay.
Someone
go ahead.
On Twitter said, Teresa Bonafide said, I sound like a computer on Portal, which, cool. I'll take it.
You really do.
Whatever works.
You really do.
You know.
Continuing on with Maddie's pre-sale, Omar Hassa just asked, how do you get into the early access sale? You have to join one of Maddie's clubs, which they have like a gray school club and some other things. But you had to do that back in like November. So can't do it now. You have to ask that question. You cannot get into it for 2016, unfortunately. But they do that every year. They've got different clubs. You can go join those and get access to the early subscriber stuff next year. So,
and then if they make it through the pre-sale, they'll be available at the convention. And then if they make it through the convention, they'll usually do an online sale after.
Yes. All of that is entirely accurate. They sell all of their exclusives also at the convention.
Because they don't,
and yeah, they do their after sale every year as well.
Yeah, they don't, just like every other vendor in the pre-sale, they don't actually sell out of everything in the pre-sale.
No, they don't. Not at all.
But you can go have the fun of waiting in line for those if you don't make it into the, if you don't get it online. And you really want it.
And Maddie's a little bit different than Hasbro. Like, you're not going to go up to sales pavilion. You're actually going to be going to the booth and getting in line, which is not that fun.
But you're at Comic-Con in the line. That's what it's about. Right?
Is it? Actually, yes. That's probably exactly what Comic-Con is about. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like
You've covered it all.
I feel like I've talked to myself for half an hour, so it's a regular Tuesday night.
Everything. I'm just here to push buttons that don't do anything.
But you push them very well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's nice to be appreciated for pushing buttons.
For your mini skills. Yeah. Like we said, news is just going to keep coming. Panel confirmations are going to keep coming, which is my favorite part of all of this. Exclusives are going to keep coming. We haven't even gotten into Hasbro stuff. Like, they had
the Transformers ones?
Yeah, we've seen the Titan Force set, but not even like official pictures of it. It's just they've had it up. They brought the figures to a couple different conventions, so people have taken photos of them, and they released like one photo of a piece of box art. So we haven't seen like any of that stuff, and normally by this time we have.
Right.
Normally by this time, like Entertainment Weekly has shown us their Star Wars exclusive and all that stuff. So I'm ready to like get into this.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah,
we're expecting it all right, basically to just kick off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I feel like it did last week, and then it just died, obviously, over the weekend. It took a huge nosedive. But I think it'll start picking up again here this week.
We have one question on Twitter. Brett Smith asked, do you know if there are phone apps for comic book company booth signing schedules? Which ones? Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, etc.? I don't think there is.
DC does.
DC does it on their app?
DC does it on their app. Marvel used to have a Marvel Events app, but they stopped doing that, I think, in 2014. Marvel's autograph signing schedule is actually always weirdly hard to find. It's always they post like a photo of the full thing in some random spot, and that's literally the only way to find it.
Maybe it keeps the
Not
crowd
a huge
down.
fan. Does it? I don't think it does.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
I was able to walk near the booth once.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think I might have even stepped onto the carpet of the booth itself at one point last year.
I know you did because you were in line with me. Yes.
I wasn't talking about that. I was just talking about walking by.
Well, fair enough. But no, DC is very good about their signings. They post them on their website. They post them up on their app. They're very good. Everybody else,
Now, Dark Horse releases their schedule on.
Dark Horse releases their schedule. I don't know that they have an app, but what you may or may not know is we always do a compiled list of autograph signings at just about every booth that we can possibly find. That we should probably start to publish here and again the next week or 3. And that gets updated continually up until basically the day of the convention. So, yeah.
And we have a question, advice for a novice on getting a cheap lunch during the con that doesn't taste like cardboard. That would be going outside of the convention center. And
that is the advice. That's
about it.
Where do you eat at the con?
I don't
either.
I eat breakfast sometimes, and I take
do that.
Maybe a sandwich that I made like the week before, and snacks in the backpack, and then I will eat dinner somewhere, and that's about it.
I don't do what I do. I am like a ball of nerves the whole week, and like I bring like a thing of trail mix, don't even finish it. That's basically all that I eat the whole week. So don't do that. But yeah, if you want good food, there's a ton of good options down there in the Gas Lamp. I mean, so long as you're not me and too nervous to taste any of it, it's great.
And I think depending on what side of the convention you're on, go over to the hotel that's closest to your side of the convention. And it's not going to be super cheap, but it's going to be at least decent food.
And there is some really good food at both the Marriott over there. I highly recommend the bar/restaurant out by the pool. They do some really good tacos. And then the Bayfront has some really nice places. And it's really, Sean always says this, but it's really nice, quite frankly, sometimes just to go to those places, sit down. You kind of feel like you're not even at the convention anymore for like 20 minutes. You know? Yeah, get away. It's a nice little break. If you were planning on eating lunch and going to do something for lunch, yeah, it's definitely a good idea to get out and take a break. Yeah, and the hotels always have way less of a wait than going anywhere semi-popular in the Gas Lamp. And Michael Pea also, again, recommended the Ralph's for picking up something on the way in, which is always a good option if you are walking in or if it's close to where you're parking. Yeah. Or even just walking over there after you've arrived and you're set in a line and you have to go get something, take a stroll to the Ralph's. You know what? In like 7 years of going to Comic-Con, I've never been to Ralph's. Never. I couldn't even tell you where it is. Yeah, it's that way. Over that way. It's that way? Okay. Therese Bonafide also said that they pack an ice chest and park under the convention center. I used to do that when it was easy to park under the convention center 20 years ago. But it got difficult. You couldn't actually, I mean, now if you get parking, obviously you're going to know you're there. But unless you know you're going to be there, before they started doing the guaranteed spot, if you didn't know if you were going to park, you brought it and just sat in the car if you were parked a mile away. So, but yeah, we used to do that a decade to 2 ago.
So it's a good idea. I mean, it's all the food you like. You go up down into the parking area, and you are away from it for a bit, and it's quiet.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea if you're parking down there to bring a cooler with some food.
Yeah, and Super Cat Chick also said, I suggest signing up for Ralph's preferred customer card so you get all the discounts. Also love Bubs at the ballpark for a quick, cheapish meal. Cruise, Groupon, and happy hours to save money. Yeah, I've done Groupon before to save some money at eateries around there.
And there's also the food trucks. Jennifer Sagers mentioned the food trucks at Petco.
Yep.
Just a quick trip over the footbridge.
Yeah, and there's always some good stuff out there.
It's just nothing's going to be quick.
No.
Or cheap.
No.
Combined. You're going to get one or the other.
But if you don't want cardboard, head outside the convention center. So,
yeah. There you go.
M. Nelson mentioned, because we talked about this earlier, and remember the line for Mattel exclusives is completely attached from the Mattel booth that has all the displays. Also very true. So it's doable. It's certainly doable, but
it's one of those random lines you see against a wall somewhere or something like that you have no idea what it's for. Or
pretty much.
Is it upstairs? It's somewhere else. I've never actually been in it. I probably just walked by it and never known that's what it was for.
I think that's most people. Back to food. M. Nelson said the food court at the Horton Plaza is cheap and fast. Panda Express, subs, etc. Normally no lines, no wait for table. Very true, but Horton Plaza is also a little bit of a walk, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like 10 blocks.
Yeah. If you're parking over there, though, hey, good option.
Yeah.
And speaking of parking, Group 5, I believe, went on sale today. And then next Monday, Group 6 will go on sale. And then I want to say the 13th is when it will open up back to the general population. Right now, all of the convention centers sold out. Bayfront may still have preview night. It did as of this morning. It may not now. Everything else, though, is pretty much open.
Yeah,
except for the stuff that was never available.
Right.
So there will be stuff that will be available in the general sale. It's just a matter of how much money you want to spend, how badly you need parking, and how far you're willing to walk. Yep.
And remember, as always, this is not all the parking available at Comic-Con, just the guaranteed parking.
Yes. And hey, if you are staying at a hotel, call the hotel, ask them how much their parking is, because I've had so many people argue with me on Twitter, oh, well, I called Comic-Con and they said that all parking was handled by Ace. And I'm like, but you're staying at your hotel. Call your hotel. They have parking that's separate from Ace's inventory. So even if you're staying at the Bayfront, you don't have to go purchase parking from Ace. And in fact, I recommend that you don't, because Ace's parking is not overnight, whereas if you pay through the Bayfront, it is. So
there you go.
Yes,
they all list in the listings in the Comic-Con hotel sale. They list if they have parking or not.
Yeah.
But yes, call if you're concerned. Find out. Make sure that it's something that you can get.
And again, of course, call your individual hotel. Don't call On Peak. Don't call Comic-Con. Don't call Ace. Call your hotel. Ask them what their parking situation is.
And even if you can't check in early, you may want to show up early because parking may fill up, or you may get the worst spot in the parking lot.
Yes.
Next to the dumpster.
Yes, indeed.
Something like that.
So I think that pretty much wraps up our news for the week. Like I said, I swear to you guys, we will have much more interesting things to say next month. We will have people who are not James and me on this podcast again. I've just kind of failed at booking guests, but that's okay.
Me too.
Well,
I tried to. I failed.
it happens. You want to wrap us up?
Sure. Where we're going to start with? Don't forget, we're teaming up with Uber for $20 off your first ride at Comic-Con. Use the code SDCCUblog, and you'll get $20 off your first ride if you're new customer. If you've used it before, this doesn't work. Sorry.
And Uber, if you don't want to pay for parking, Uber is an awesome, cheap way to get around.
Yep. All right. Also, sign up for our newsletter. The link is in the show notes.
We have lots of other news on our site in our Under the Tents column and other things that we just didn't get around to talking about today.
So thank you all for joining us and putting up with Carrie and I, mainly me, being the disembodied voice that comes and goes. We'll be back next week, better than ever. And we'll bring you news.
Hopefully with...
And opinions.
Yes.
And what?
Hopefully with fewer technical glitches.
And I would hope so.
I would too.
Somebody needs to work on that. James.
Yes.
Carrie, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon. You can also find me all over our website, and I am the one manning the blog Twitter 99% of the time. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I will be under my computer working away, but for now you can find me at Dan Regal everywhere on the internet, and you can check out geekshotphoto.com for links to all the social media of my wife and I and all of our photos.
We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio. The link is in the show notes.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. Thank you all for listening, and everybody, go
shawarma.
Yeah, we're not going full board today.